Welcome to August 1st. It's Battleathon time. I am so excited. If you guys have no clue what Battleathon is, hi, welcome. This is a readathon created by me. It is a competitive-based readathon where all of your points come from your star rating. There is a bracket, it goes head-to-head, and I'm so excited that it is back for another year. If you guys want some more information on that, all of that is going to be down in the description box. I'm going to be reading very strategically throughout the month, and I am going to be using a spinner wheel to pick whose team my points are going to. So I'm going to spin after I'm finished with the books because the drama, we want to know what star rating we're giving to each team. And this is just going to be how I choose which teams get my points. This week I'm going to be seeing if I can actually predict a 5-star. I had a 5-star prediction video go up and I am notoriously terrible at these. I'm not very good at predicting 5 stars. I think something's going to be a 5-star and it ends up being a 2-star. I think something's going to be a 2-star, it ends up being a 5-star. What I'm going to do this week is read a bunch of books off of that list and see, am I actually able to predict a 5-star or do I suck at it? I have a tentative TBR of 3 books off of that list. I've actually already read several books off of that list, none of which I think were actually 5 stars so far. But the docket for this week is going to be Ashen Feather by S.M. Gaither. This is the sequel to Flame and Sparrow, which I gave a 4-star. The beginning was a little bit rough, but by the end I had fallen in love with the characters and the plot and the story, so I'm really hoping that this one ends up being a 5-star for me. It's probably going to be the one that I start with because today I'm pretty much going to be just packing bookmarks, reading for reading sprints, and I'm going to be sitting down reading, and this does not have an audio, so I'll probably be starting with this one. Then I also think I'm going to be finally reading An Ember in the Ashes. Everyone has been screaming at me to read this book, so I think that it is time that I finally listen. I finally take everyone else's advice and pick up this book. So I don't know a whole lot about this. I know that it is a desert setting. I know that it is a YA classic fan favorite, and I'm so excited to see what all the hype is about. And last but not least is one I'm actually pretty confident is going to be a 5-star, and that is City of Mirth and Malice by Alex Menard. This is the sequel to House of Bane and Blood. I gave House of Bane and Blood a very high 4-star. I loved it. I had the best time with the banter and the magic in the world. It was so cool, and so I think that this is just going to improve on that, be even better, and I'm going to absolutely freaking love it. So that is my TBR for the week. I'm so excited, you guys. I cannot believe August is finally here. But now I need to go pack some bookmarks. About 110 pages into Ashen Feather. This is the sequel to Flame and Sparrow, which is following Karis, who is an elf, but they aren't like your typical Tolkien type elves. They are very similar to the Fae, honestly, and they used to be kind of one of the deities when there was like a war between them and the gods, and they were demoted to lower than humans. Humans were created, and then middle gods were created to kind of be the segue between the gods and the humans, and the elves were pretty much cast aside and hunted. I can't remember exactly what happened and why they were shunned, but they were completely shunned away. And Karis lost her sister when she was very, very young. She was murdered at their home, and now she is on a revenge streak trying to get revenge against the middle gods, who she believes is responsible for pretty much all of life's ailments. And one day she is introduced to the god of fire, who she absolutely hates, and swept away into the god's realm. Book 1 was a little bit of a struggle in the first 30-40%, honestly. The very, very beginning was just extremely repetitive. The world building, I felt like it was getting told to me over and over and over again. But as we finally got introduced to our male lead and kind of had them interacting between each other more, I fell in love with their banter. I really liked the side characters, and I could not wait to get back into the world and back into their story in the second book. This one picks up right where the first one left off. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, but so far we've pretty much just started immediately where it left off, and then we jump forward 6 weeks later so that a little bit of the aftermath has passed. And I feel like there's just something missing for me right now. I'm still really having a good time. I love the world. I love the plot. I like her writing, but I feel like there's just a little something missing. And I think it's because this is very, very, very plot driven, whereas the first one I feel like was more relationship not character driven, but like the romanticy part was definitely more at the forefront. So far this one, the plot has been more at the forefront. And so I'm missing those little moments between the two of them. I want them to be together. I want them to be interacting and kind of see how they're lifting each other up, or see how they're helping one another handle some of the big changes that happened at the end of book one. And so I feel like we're missing those moments. We had a spicy scene about 20% in, which is not that early. It's really not. This book is 500 pages. So 20%, 100 pages, that's really not that early. However, because they had not really had a lot of small moments together, we hadn't really seen them on pages a whole lot together. It felt a little bit too quick and a little bit rushed, but feel like I'm nitpicking a little bit because I am still having a really, really good time with this book. I don't know how much more reading I'm going to get done tonight. Honestly, I'm shocked that I've gotten 100 pages read. It's just been a little bit of a whirlwind of a day. This doesn't have an audiobook, so I wasn't able to like listen to it while packing bookmarks. I have been a little bit frazzled, a little bit overwhelmed today, which is amazing, and I appreciate you guys so much making this first day so successful. I'm not complaining at all. I will take no reading for a successful kickoff any day, but I am probably going to wrap up sprints here in the next 30 minutes or so. I might lay in bed and read some more of this and just try to decompress for the day, and then I will hopefully get a lot more reading read tomorrow. I was gonna do a vlog clip, but I think somebody is going to be too noisy. Hey, sit down. Can I talk for like 2 seconds, please? Thank you. Okay, cool. I am currently at my mom's house. I'm going to be helping her with just a few things after surgery. I think we're going to go grab some lunch, kind of try to get her out of the house just for a second. Can you hear me over his craziness? Good grief. But I got about 20% into An Ember in the Ashes on my way down here, and I'm having a good time with it. I really don't have a whole lot to say about it so far. It is about two people, one that is a part of the Empire and has like been training to don the mask, and then one that has a brother that was captured by the Empire and was apparently part of the rebellion, so she goes to seek the rebellion's help in order to free her brother. It has a very normal young adult setup so far, but it's a setup that I really enjoy. I'm liking the writing. I am really enjoying this so far. I don't have a whole lot of like hardcore opinions at the moment, but I am having a very good time. So I'm gonna get this little monster in to see Loki because he loves hanging out with my mom's dog, and I will chat with you guys in a bit. So I have just gotten home from Mom's. We hung out there for a while, watched some of the Olympics, and just kind of chilled out. I was sitting on the couch with her cat for most of the afternoon. But on the way home, I was going to tell you guys that I read some more of An Ember in the Ashes, but I didn't. I listened to the Spotify playlist of Sabrina Carpenter instead, so I have absolutely no update for you guys at the moment. I do plan to spend the rest of the weekend probably reading Ash and Feather. That is my plan, is to get some more of Ash and Feather read. Because it doesn't have an audiobook, I want to be trying to focus on it when I'm at home, and that way I have An Ember in the Ashes on my long drive to work on Monday morning. So the next update you guys see will probably be Ash and Feather, but forgive me if this vlog feels a little all over the place because that's how my brain feels right now. I am still currently reading Ash and Feather, and I've gotten about halfway into this so far. I really wanted to be further into this book. Honestly, I wanted to be further into a lot of books. It's Sunday, and I really should have been reading this whole weekend, but my attention span has just been somewhere else. I have gotten a lot of booktube stuff done, lots of admin things, but it's like I'll be able to concentrate on something for 30 minutes and I'll do a quick reel or do a quick post, and then I've got to move on to something else, and then I'll edit a video for an hour, but then I need to move on to something else. Every time I sit down to read, I think of like 15 other things that I need to be doing, and I just stop reading and do something else. So I'm really struggling with concentration, but I am determined to finish this book tomorrow if I can help it. I'm still enjoying this, but I'm not loving it as much as I was hoping to. I think that it's just right now moving kind of slowly. I do think it's focusing more on the plot, which I appreciate, but the plot feels like it's moving kind of slow. It is doing a good job talking about like mental health and what happens when your whole world gets turned upside down. Everything that you ever knew is completely different. Karis is now a different person, and she's having to navigate life differently. And so I am appreciating those conversations. I feel like some of the sex scenes have just been thrown in there for the sake of having sex scenes because they just don't feel at a place in their relationship right now for that. And so I'm not loving that aspect of the story, but I am very intrigued to see what happens. Something about the 50th mark did occur, which I'm hoping will propel the plot forward a lot. And I'm still liking this book. I'm not going to say I'm not liking it. I'm just not quite getting 5-star feels from it as of right now. Okay, but like there have been some really cute moments between the two of them. There's a training scene, which I really appreciate, where they're like both trying to figure things out. I don't really want to spoil anything, so I'm just going to kind of be very vague about this training scene. But he tells her that he is going to beat her, and just the moment is really cute. And I definitely feel like it does a good job of propelling things kind of forward. I would need to find the quote, because there was a really good quote in the middle of that scene, and for some reason I don't think I bookmarked it. So if I can find it, I will definitely show it to you guys. But there are some excellent quotable moments in this book so far, and I feel like I have not been giving that enough credit. Ooh, we have a friend. Bryn, is there anything you would like to say about the book? No? What are you doing? She's helping. One coffee, but it is a make a second coffee to go kind of day. I just showed you the new Chobani creamer. You've probably already heard me talking about it. I don't guess it's new, but it's new to me. The Chobani cookie dough creamer is everything. It is absolutely incredible. I love it. It's sweet without being too sweet, and it just pairs perfectly with some milk and a double shot espresso. So I'm gonna make me another one of those this morning. Basically all I'm doing is brewing a double shot Sakuro and then doing some milk and just pouring like a tablespoon of the Chobani on top of it, adding some ice, and I am out the door. I am loving it. So before this thing gets so loud that you can't hear me, I'm gonna go. I've got to go to work this morning. Today's my long drive to work day, so I'm planning to read An Ember in the Ashes or listen to this on my way. I'm hoping that I can get at least 50%, maybe a little bit further, because the audiobook for City of Mirth and Malice comes out tomorrow, and I want to be able to jump on that ASAP. So this is priority number 1 today, and then I still have about 40% left in Ash and Feather, so your girl needs to get to reading because I have been slacking. Look at me getting to 60% of my book. I made accomplishments today. I feel very proud of myself for actually reading and not listening to Sabrina Carpenter all the way home. I am liking this a lot so far. I'm having such a good time with it. In the beginning, I honestly wasn't super sure about it. I was like, okay, this is fine. This is like a general young adult fantasy setup. But as we continue on into the story, I still feel like it's a pretty general, like, young adult fantasy setup, but I'm still having the best time. It reminds me a little bit of Fireborn in the way that it is young adult, but doesn't feel super young. Like, I feel like this is geared more at your upper teens to new adult than it is, like, a younger demographic. I think a lot of the reason is because there is a little bit of a small romantic subplot through here, but it's not like the whole does he like me, does he not like me kind of situation that I feel like some young adults lean into. This is definitely focused on kind of different aspects, and I am really, really enjoying it so far. I will say that even though this is young adult, there are some moments in here where I'm like, that was cutthroat. The Commodore in this is more ruthless than some of the like adult fantasy characters that I have seen. She is something else. She is something else, let me tell you. I'm liking the trials aspect of this. I like the different like creatures that we have going on in here. I think Laya, I think is how you say her name. I think I prefer her point of view just because that's where we're getting some of the like political stuff, but I also really like Elias's point of view. I'm having a great time with this so far. I've already ordered book 2. It's on its way to my house. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to get all of these covers in paperback, but Cassidy has since told me that the 4th book did indeed come out in paperback, so I just have to hunt it down. So if you see any good condition 4th books in paperback, let me know, because I am now on the hunt. I was able to find book 2 and book 3, but I have not found book 4 not in hardcover. So that is my next mission, is to find book 4. I don't have really anything else to update you on. I'm on Patreon sprints tonight. I'm going to try to get a little bit more reading done. I can't decide between this one and Ash and Feather. Ash and Feather I am really liking, but there's just something about it that I'm not like, I don't feel like I am as engaged with, but I will say as I got further into that, I'm now like 60% into it. At about the 50th% mark, I got more invested in it as well. So maybe it was just a little case of like Flame and Sparrow where it took me a little time to get into it, and then once it kicked off and really started to get going, I like it a lot more. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the current plan is. I am going to be doing bookmarks. I need to pack up the last of those. And I think that's it. If you guys do want bookmarks, I highly suggest going ahead and getting your orders in, because I am like really skinny on the stickers and the sets for sure. And then some of the individual bookmarks are also getting kind of low as well. So if you want them, I would highly recommend going ahead and getting your order in. The link for that is down in the description if you want it. But I think that's everything. I need to go read because I've told my patrons to scream at me if I don't do any reading tonight. A few very exciting updates for you guys. We're about to find out my star rating for An Ember in the Ashes, as well as do my spin to see who is going to be getting the points. Are they going to be getting lots of points, or are they going to be getting very little points? But first I need to talk about my final thoughts on this book. I did really enjoy it. I thought that it was very classical, like young adult revolution rebellion type fantasy, but I still really enjoyed it. I thought there were some interesting takes and interesting conversations that were being had throughout the whole thing. I really enjoyed our characters. I loved the setting. I thought it was really well written. I just had a lot of fun with this. All of the girlies that were screaming at me to pick this up were absolutely right, and I should have done it a long time ago. I actually have the second book that arrived in the mail today, so I definitely plan to be getting to that very soon. But final rating for this is going to be a 4.5, but rounded down to a 4. There was just something about this that did not quite give me 5-star feels. I loved it. I had a great time with it. I was excited to pick it back up again, but I didn't just quite feel 5 stars. So this is going to be a 4-star read, which means whichever team I spin for is going to be getting 400 points. So let me show you my wheel. This is my spinner wheel. This has both of the teams on here twice, but it also has an emoji poll, which means I will be giving my patrons a bunch of emojis that are associated with the teams, and they will pick an emoji and that's the team that will get the points. And then I also think I have spin again on here. Yeah, I have spin again. So if I land on that, I'll just have to, well, spin again. So let me see if I can prop you a little bit better, and then we'll do our spin. Let's do our first spin and see who's going to be getting 400 points. Team Stars is going to be getting the 400 points for An Ember in the Ashes. This slacker is finally finishing some books. I'm about to tell you guys what my final thoughts were on Ash and Feather, but quickly before I do that, I got some very exciting mail in today. These are the... Woo, where did that go? I just snapped that rubber band right off of there. Anyway, these are the Patreon bookmarks for September and October, or August and September, so that you have them in October. And I just wanted to show you guys because I'm so excited. I'm so excited about both of these. I'm gonna show you both of them. I might show you both of them because I'm really excited about them. The first one for August is Taylor Swift inspired. I had to. It says, "Who's afraid of little old me?" And it's this badass female character on the front. And it's just got like this little watermark that I feel like just screams Torture Poets Department. And then the back is like the watermarked background. I love it. I think it turned out so good. It's like a chrome that's really, really shiny. And then for the September bookmark, this one is very spooky inspired, and I'm also like, I think is my favorite. I just think he's so cute. We have the ghosty and his cat friend with the chrome bats and then like chrome spiders down here. I just think he's so cute. Like, look at him. Look at him and his little cat. And then the back is the same design. It's just not got the chrome foiling on it. I love the way that these turned out. If you are a Reaper, you will get these, and I hope that you guys love them too. If you ever want the bookmarks and you want to know what it's all about, all the information is down in my description box to join Patreon. But anyway, enough about that. I was just really excited, so I wanted to show you guys. Final thoughts on Ash and Feather. I really liked this book. I think it did similar to Flame and Sparrow, where it did take me a little time to fully sink my teeth into it. And I don't know if that was me or the book, because honestly, I started this book first. It's taken me a little time to finish it, but I did not, like, I wasn't in the reading mood at the beginning of the week. I wanted to be, but I was slumping pretty hard. Finally, after a couple of days, I felt like I was ready to read again, and it got a lot easier. So I don't know if it was me or the book, but I ended up enjoying this one a lot. I think this focuses very much so on mental health and kind of like overcoming your struggles and more the emotional side of things, whereas A Flame and Sparrow is definitely more banter, relationship, like it's new, it's exciting, we're gonna conquer the world kind of things. This is definitely a much more emotional story and like a dealing with the aftermath of something, which I still really liked. I just found that some of the spots were a little slow, but I loved the conversations that we were having in here. I liked the way that he helped her through that and how her friends were helping her through that, even unlikely friends. I still loved their relationship. They had some really good moments in here. Not quite as much banter, although it was still there. It was definitely more of like uplifting, encouraging, he's got this kind of moments. There was one part at the end where I was like, literally, you go girl, like fist pumping. She finally comes into her own kind of thing. So there were some really, really, really great moments in this that I loved a lot. But I think that it's going to get a 4-star. It didn't quite reach 5-star feels for me. I really enjoyed it, but just not quite hitting 5 stars. So let's see who's going to be getting the extra points. I don't think anybody is going to be getting bonus word points for this one. Ash and Feather. Technically, Feather feels like it should be a wings related word, but it's not, because it's not royal. And Ash is not really like, it's not really nature. I guess it could be, but it's not really nature. And fire, ash is not going to be a star related word. So anyway, I don't really consider ash to be a wicked word either. So we're gonna spin. We're gonna see who's gonna get those 400 points. Okay, can you guys see? I think you can see. Team of Thorns is gonna come in with the points for this one. Good morning. Good morning. Can I do the Carmelo with the whipped cream?
Okay. And what size?
Large, I think. So this morning is 100% a Mudslingers morning. I am so tired. So it wasn't just a Mudslingers morning, it was a large Mudslingers morning. And this is the Carmelo, I believe is what it's called. Basically, it's like toasted marshmallow and caramel, and it is so good. It's one of their August specials. But I need to continue listening to City of Mirth Malice. I am way behind on all of my reading because I decided I might want to try to get in another book. We'll see if that happens, but I really kind of want to get to Reign of Shadow and Ending, so we will see, but I am very late. Okay, good. You cannot see the gigantic mess that is currently behind me. I'm home from work, and I got a pretty good bit of City of Mirth and Malice listened to today, and like I am screaming right now, I'm in love with this book so far. I'm 25-30% of the way in, and I am living for Nico. Living. The bottom just fell out. Hopefully you can't hear that. But anyway, I'm living for Nico. I cannot stop screaming about Nico. He is everything. He is amazing. He is incredible. The like touch her and you die, mind vibes, so good. Yeah, I think that that's all that I really have to say about this right now is Nico. But let me tell you what House of Bane and Blood is about. So this series, this is the second book in the duology that is set within a larger series. So think kind of like the Serpent and the Wings of Night series. This is the second book, and it is following Camilla, who is the heiress of a transportation train like dynasty. She and her family have complete control over the main transportation in and out of this island, and the island is where people called descendants or remnants came from over on the mainland because they had such a bad life there. They have magic, and they are descended from these like gods, and each god is different. We have the mirth, the malice, the blood, the bane, and the chaos gods, and they all have different powers or different types of powers that are associated with the god that they are descended from. Anyway, she is the heiress to this transportation line, but they are really starting to have some hard times. They are not really able to make ends meet. So her brothers decide that she needs to be married off in order for them to kind of get a loan in order to keep the business alive. And she goes off on her last night of freedom and meets Nico, the man with the metal hand, and they have a fun night together, but then she leaves him knowing that she has her duty to marry some guy. I don't remember his name. Anyway, when she's about to be married, Nico swoops in and is like, hey, I might have a better offer for you, and tries to marry her instead. So good. The first book I loved. I did have a little bitty teeny tiny issue with some of the pacing in the plot, but the relationship was fire. I loved their relationship so much. This one I think is going to fix any and all potential problems that I had about book one. The more I sit on book one, the more I want to give it a 5-star, because like it was a 4.5 rounded down, but I think I really feel like it almost needs to be rounded up, but that's a discussion for another day. This feels like a 5-star, hands down, no question. I really feel like this is going to be a 5-star. So I hope that the spinner wheel is in your favor, because I am living for this book so far. Another exciting update. I have finished another book. We need to talk about my final thoughts on A City of Mirth and Malice. I know that you guys already are probably fully aware that this was a 5-star. I loved it so much. Nico and Camilla just have my whole heart. They are ride or die. I love their relationship. I also love the plot and the steampunk. We got more of the train in this one. The magic system is so cool, and I can't gush about this book enough. It was so incredible. If you have not picked up this series yet, you desperately need to. This is the first like duology within the series. I think they're going to be duologies. I will say that this does leave not on a cliffhanger, but feeling like Camilla and Nico's story is just ever so slightly unfinished, which I think means that plot thread is going to continue throughout the rest of the book. So I'm very excited to see where everything goes. I'm so excited to find out who the next couple is going to be. I just love this. 10 out of 10. So incredible. Absolutely freaking loved. So I apparently can predict a 5-star, at least one out of this entire video, and I'm so glad that I can shout and scream from the rooftops about this book. Now we need to do a spin and see which team is going to be getting the points, the 500 points from City of Mirth and Malice. I think that the only team that would get bonus points off of this book would be if it was Team Snakes. So unless it's the Snakes, they're only going to get 500 points. Snakes, because of the word malice, will get 510 points. So I'm going to flip you around, we're going to spin, and we're going to see who gets those points. Team Wings is going to be getting the points for this one. So Team Wings is going to be getting 500 points for City of Mirth and Malice. They don't get any bonus points. There's no royal words in this one. So unfortunately, it is just the 500 points. But I'm so excited to have a 5-star on the docket, you guys. I may try to squeeze in one more book. That was not my plan because tomorrow is Friday. As you all have probably heard by now, I do have to go on a work retreat this weekend. Not excited about it, but I do have to go. With that being said, I do have about 4 hours of uninterrupted listening time ahead of me because of the drive. It's about a 4-hour round trip. I'm not going to get any reading done on Saturday though, and the audiobook that I'm thinking about is 8 hours on 3 times speed. So I'm worried that I'm only going to be able to get through about half of it before the week ends. Worst case scenario, we'll roll it into next week, but it is a 5-star prediction, so I really wanted to get it in this week because I'm trying to see if I can actually predict a 5-star or if I just suck at it. So far, we're doing pretty good. I may not be like a shooting a 100, but like I feel like I haven't given anything a 2-star yet, knock on wood, so we're doing something right. But that book is Reign of Shadow and Endings by Melissa K. Rourke. I loved the Lady of Darkness series. I thought that it was a lot of fun. I still have the last book to go, and I was gonna wait on Reign of Shadow and Endings until I finished Lady of Darkness because I feel like I've heard that there is some overlap, although I hear that you don't have to read one to read the other, but there are some characters and some plot threads that might be mildly spoilery if you know what you're looking for Lady of Darkness, but I don't think I care. I just want to make sure that I'm able to read this book this month because I do feel like it's going to be a 5-star. So we're just going to wing it. We're going to read it. We're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. I've heard it is a very dark read, which is a buzzword for me. And I know that I like Melissa K. Rourke's writing style, so I am excited. I've heard that people love this one even more than Lady of Darkness. I've been reading Reign of Shadow and Endings on my way to and from work, and now I'm home. I'm going to be finishing up a few things before I head away for the weekend, but I'm very unsure about this book so far. I was expecting it to be a 5-star given how much I really enjoyed the Lady of Darkness series. I still like the writing and that kind of thing. The world is similar. It's supposed to be the same world, I think, as the Lady of Darkness series. The world here is about legacies and fae. The legacies are like descendants of the gods, and they have a lot of powers, and in order to keep their power replenished, they have to draw from the fae. The fae that become the sources, it's considered like a great honor, but a lot of them don't actually feel that way. They feel like it is a servitude to the legacies. Basically, once they have the bond completed, they are stripped of pretty much all of their own like thoughts and wills. They just want to serve the legacy, and they are like bonded and in love with them and just want to serve their masters essentially. So all of their like own thoughts and wills are stripped from them. When there's like this mysterious realm that doesn't really tell anybody about who they're going to choose as a legacy, decides to choose Tessa, and she gets whisked away to this kingdom and into a world and a life that she just didn't ever think she was going to have to do and never wanted. The first thing that threw me off is that this has like cell phones and pizza and things like that. It talks about how we have realms and how we have castles, and it all seems very not modern. Like the language that's used is not modern, and then all of a sudden we're talking about a cell phone. I don't like that. I don't mind a modern setting. I don't mind an urban setting. I don't mind cell phones in my fantasy, but I need all of the language to be a little bit more cohesive because it feels like a not modern world, but then we throw cell phones in and it just throws me out of the story. So I am struggling a little bit with that part of things. We have like a convenience store, stuff like that, but then the selection ceremony felt very like medieval fae. I know this has a lot of triggers. I don't really have a lot of triggers. Everything that people tell me is dark. I don't always feel that way, so I am curious to see how this is so dark. At the moment, I'm really unsure about how this relationship is going to fly because it is made extremely clear that the bonds make them servitude to their masters, to their legacies, and that their feelings are not their own. So I'm not really sure how I'm ever gonna trust that Tessa actually has feelings for Theon for this to become a romantasy. We'll see, but right now I'm just not feeling how it's gonna get there. I'm willing to continue reading and trust the process, but I am very, very unsure at the moment. This place is extremely fancy. Like, we're talking very fancy. Let me give you a quick like room tour really quickly because wow. Okay, so when you walk in, this is the bathroom. Like, I don't have that nice of a tub in my own house. This walk-in shower, obviously the toilet, and then it has like a little snack cart. And then, is this a mudroom? Like, what is this exactly? I think it's kind of like a mudroom. And then this is like the room. Very cute. We have a little CD, TV. And then this is the view out my window, which is so nice because it doesn't really like look over anything populated. This is my room. I've got to change for like a semi-fancy dinner, so I'm gonna do that really quickly. I don't think I'm gonna get any reading at all done while I'm here. I did listen a little bit more to Reign of Shadow and Endings on my way. I don't have a lot more thoughts. The relationship side of things is bugging me slightly less because she is definitely pushing back a lot, so it doesn't feel like they snapped into this bond and now suddenly she's in love with him kind of thing, but it does feel very insta-love-esque kind of from his side a little bit. So I don't know, I'm still kind of on the fence, but enjoying it more than I was. So I'm hoping that will just continue to evolve, but I'm getting very tired of all we're doing is talking about the bond. I need there to be something else snapping in because Lady of Darkness had a very good plot to go along with it. And I feel like right now the Legacy series doesn't really feel like it has any plot, so to speak, but I'm only about 30% of the way in, so it could definitely come to. I just need something else to be going on other than us talking about this bond all the time. Anyway, I'm gonna go change. I'll chat with you guys later. In case you're wondering about my outfit for dinner, this is what we are currently working with. Captured in a photograph, remember how we used to sit in the vines. Home, I am going to get the spreadsheet figured out, make sure everything is working right, and then I'm going to give you guys the final updates and team rankings. Quickly, I did want to say that I did read a little bit more of Reign of Shadow and Endings, but I only got to about 35%, so that one will be rolling over into week 2. This week, I think I did a pretty good job predicting 5 stars. I only got 1 right, but the other 2 were like solid 4 stars. So I feel like that still can kind of give me a pat on the back that at least I kind of maybe possibly know my reading taste. So I am going to quickly get this set up and then I will be right back and we'll tell you guys what the final rankings are for week 1. I'm so glad to be home. I am beyond tired. It was a very long drive home, but I'm so glad to be back. Quickly, I wanted to tell you guys what the finals are and the team ratings for the end of week 1. Remember, weeks 1 and weeks 2 are cumulative, so this will change a little bit. This is not your final rankings or your final standings, but for week 1, in 4th place, we have the House of Thorns. In 3rd place, we have the House of Wings. In 2nd place is the House of Stars. And in 1st place is the House of Snakes. Sometimes we were 2 to 3 points per person, like everything was shifting around, so you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up for week 2. Please try not to give these standings away in the Discord. If you could give it about an hour before you talk about it and then spoiler tag it for a little while after that, that would be great. It just gives everybody time to watch the video and hang out and find out for themselves what the standings are. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you just want to let me know that you were here and hanging out, please leave me your team emoji and what you are currently reading down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!